Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ninja Selling Podcast. I'm Rob Nelson, and today I'm here with your good friend and mine, I stole your line, Eric Thompson.
I appreciate that, Rob. It's great to be here.
I'm glad you're here, Eric. Well, thanks so much for the opportunity to sit down and talk about a subject that we all sort of know we need probably some help with, and some of us more than others. But let's talk about how to live a drama-free life.
This is one of my favorite topics, so I'm happy to talk about this.
Love it.
Sounds great.
So it's really interesting. Eric joined our team about 6 weeks ago as the head of Ninja Coaching. And if somebody were to ask me, what's it been like working with Eric for the last 6 weeks? My first response probably would be, it's been drama-free, which is a really interesting response. I mean, he's a smart guy, he's strategic, he's experienced, he's a lot of things. But the one that comes to the surface is he's drama-free. And as I think about that, and as our team sort of process the first month, that's what you do, right? As somebody comes on board, you're like, let's have a 1-month check-in. How's it going? Where do we need to make changes? About that time, Eric shows up in my office and just casually drops off a book to me. And this guy, who I feel is drama-free, hands me a book that he wrote called The No Drama Zone. So Eric Thompson literally wrote the book on how to have a drama-free life. And Eric, I want you to sort of tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, the qualifications that you have both to be the head of Ninja Coaching and the qualifications that you have to write a book on how to live a drama-free life.
Well, Rob, I appreciate all of that. That's a really flattering introduction. That's a big compliment to be described as a drama-free person. That's definitely one of my missions in life. And it's been just more than my honor and pleasure to be leading Ninja Coaching over the last 6 weeks. So real quick about my background. So I just celebrated 30 years in real estate and celebrated 20 years as a ninja. Also, just yesterday, I celebrated 19 years being married to my amazing wife, Julie. So I've spent my real estate career in really all the roles that you can imagine in residential real estate. So being a real estate agent myself, I had a successful real estate business just on my own, then in management, in leadership, in brokerage ownership, and now running Ninja Coaching. And before running Ninja Coaching, I had my own coaching and training business. And I tell you, 20 years ago, when I was introduced to Larry Kendall, Ninja Selling, not only my career changed, my life changed. It really showed me how to have a balanced life and business, how to be on purpose, how to use intention, how to use focus, how to learn to run your brain, how to learn to really engage effectively with people and communicate with people. So now I get to take all that experience I've had over the last 30 years, all the amazing mentors and people that have been a part of my growth, and use that to help us grow and scale Ninja Coaching, which is all about helping people get from the life and business they have now to the life and business that they dream of. So
you're a modest guy. You have some trophy roles and a bunch of successes on your resume that you sort of glazed over. But let me highlight one for you. Eric was, for about 5 years, I think, the president of the group.
Yes.
So the group is our real estate laboratory. They are a partner in Ninja Selling, and Ninja really came out of the group. Larry Kendall was a founder of the group. Many of you know that he operated that company from 1976 until the early 2000s. While he still sticks around at the group, his day-to-day is more at Ninja, and Eric was the president of the group.
That was an incredible experience, incredible story, and how that even came to be. I had been, as I said before, been a fan of Larry Ninja Selling, an avid follower, attending his trainings, having him come to the company that I was leading at the time called Slifer Smith and Frampton up in the mountains of Colorado, and having Larry to come and do training sessions and workshops for us. I was coming to Fort Collins, Colorado to attend his trainings and workshops. So he and I developed a great relationship. We're having lunch in the summer of 2009. And it's the end of lunch. Larry is paying the bill because he always pays. So if you go to lunch with Larry, he's going to pay. He always does. And so he's paying the bill. And I can remember this vision clearly. As he's signing his name on the check, he says, Eric, we're looking for a new president of the group. I think you should apply. And my jaw hit the floor, and was just beyond shocked and honored that he would even say that. And fast forward 6 months later, Julie and I were moving to Fort Collins, Colorado for us to be able to run the group. It was for me to be able to run the group, an amazing experience. Developed a lot of skills that I have now, developed a lot of relationships, really was able to, through that, get connected with a lot of amazing people in the industry. And yeah, I'm so super grateful for that time.
Love it.
Running the group.
Love it. So Eric, the reason we're here is to talk about how to live a drama-free life.
Let's do it.
And the irony to me is that you decided to write a book on how to live a drama-free life. I have had the pleasure of walking alongside a number of authors as they develop their books. And I will tell you that is a dramatic process. There's a lot that happens and it's difficult. So for somebody to actually finish a book and get it to press and get distribution is a dramatic thing in many ways. So tell me what was going on in your life when you decided it was time to take the dramatic venture of writing a book about how to live a drama-free life.
Well, I think it was more about what was happening in the world at the time. I put this together in the second half of 2020, and we can all remember what life was like in the second half of 2020, right? When COVID came along, and what was coming up for me is that I had learned a lot of lessons in my life, had a lot of people who had helped me out, who had given me tools and skills to help me to be able to deal with and manage what was happening in the world in a low drama way. So I think that because we were just being bombarded by a lot of uncertainty at that time and a ton of change, and things were hard in a lot of ways, impacting the economy, impacting real estate. So it was triggering a lot of drama. So I was thinking about, okay, so how can I take these lessons that I had learned and these tools and get them to people to be able to help them out? So it really became a labor of love, and it actually flowed really easily, and came up with first the 3 root causes of drama, and then the 5 rules to lead a drama-free life, and then put together these 100 lessons. And there's kind of a funny story around the 100 lessons that I can share if you want me to. So a lot of people may know this because they receive it, but I've been writing for several years in a row an email that goes out every Sunday to an email list that I have, and that email list has grown to be fairly large. So every single Sunday, I write a message, tends to be more mindset related, and a lot of those messages had a how to live a drama-free life lesson kind of embedded in it. So all I did when I'd say that there are 100 lessons in this book, I just found 100 of those emails that would fit into this topic. So I joke and say, if someone wants to write a book, all you need to do is write a few paragraphs once a week, and then a year or two later, you're going to have a book. So I pulled together those 100 lessons, and then really thought through, okay, so what causes drama, and wrote those 3 root causes, and then wrote the 5 rules to have a drama-free life, and then tacked on the end the 100 daily lessons.
So let's go there.
Yeah.
What are the 3 causes of drama?
The few things that cause drama, when you really boil it down, if you really want to look at, okay, so if I have drama in my life and I want to have less drama, what's triggering it? The first one is dramatic people. And, all respect to everyone. And we empathize with things that are happening in people's life. And we all know that there tend to be dramatic people who tend to attract a lot of drama into their life. So if you have dramatic people in your life, you're going to get around the drama that they're attracting. Yeah. So that is a root cause, right? Dramatic people.
The complicated thing about dramatic people is some of my best friends are drama magnets. They really are. They're extraordinary people, but their actions and the way that they sort of engage with the world brings a lot of drama in. So it's not necessarily that dramatic people are bad people. They're just sources of drama.
Yes. Right. They're not, that's a great way to put it. They're not bad people. They have the best of intentions, but for whatever reason, I think the reasons may be a little bit different for each person. For whatever reason, they're attracting a lot of drama. There's a lot of upset in their life, a lot of change. They tend to just have a lot of negative things happening in their life, and it's one story after the next. And so,
as you said, a lot of car trouble too.
A lot of car trouble. I talk about that in the book. It just turns out that dramatic people tend to have a lot of car trouble. Yeah. So that's root cause number 1. Root cause number 2 is the lack of trust. So we've talked about Larry Kendall, the author of Ninja Selling, and so I've learned so much from him. One amazing lesson I learned from him, an unforgettable lesson, he says there's an inverse relationship between trust and drama. I'll just never forget when he first taught me that, and he draws this arrow on a whiteboard when he does it, and I put that image in the book. So you can imagine the inverse relationship, trust on one end of the arrow up on the upside, and then on the lower end of the arrow is drama. So if you're in a dramatic relationship, in a dramatic situation, a dramatic environment, probably what's happening there is there's a very low level of trust. So when people don't trust each other just one-on-one, or if they don't trust the environment, if they don't trust a group of people, that is going to trigger drama, because really what's happening there is that people are having to watch out for themselves, because they're saying, whoa, I don't trust this environment. I don't trust this person. I really now have to protect myself. And so when you get a bunch of people together who are only thinking about themselves, that's going to trigger drama.
Yeah. It's really interesting, Eric, that you bring up the inverse relationship between drama and trust. And in Ninja, there's a concept of player versus victim. We talk about, in the mindset space, at any point in time, you can approach a challenge from either a victim or a player mindset. You can really approach life from a victim or player mindset. Paint the picture of the relationship between player and victim and drama.
Oh gosh, that's such a good question. Victims tend to be dramatic because victims believe that the world is acting on them and there's nothing they can do about it. It's all about being reactive, where players are proactive, and players simply focus on the things that they can control, and they get fully in control of those things, and they take full responsibility of those things. So much about being non-dramatic and so much about being a player rather than a victim is owning it and taking responsibility. And so that's what comes up for me as we think about the difference between player victim and being dramatic, is it really comes down to taking responsibility for what you can control, which mostly is your own behavior, right? So you can control your behavior. You can control your response to what's happening in the world. You can't control what's happening in the world or the economy, et cetera, but you can absolutely control your response. And players absolutely know that, and they own that, and they do something about it.
It's almost like if you're living an on-purpose life and approaching it with a player mindset, there's almost not room for drama.
Yes, that's such a good way to say it. Absolutely. Because you just cut out everything else. And so much energy can be easily wasted on all the things that you can't control, and the fact that you can't control them. So I watch that in victims. I watch that in people who are dramatic. Not only are they frustrated about the things that they can't control, but then they get even more frustrated about the fact that they're frustrated, that they can't control these things. And it becomes this vicious cycle where, just like you said, when you take responsibility and you own it, there's no room for that. Drama doesn't have any space to enter.
The other thing that comes up for me with that whole concept of high drama, low trust is the idea of a real estate transaction where maybe it's something that's completely out of your control. So you and your client are drama free, but the other broker or the party on the other side of the transaction is a high drama, maybe has nothing to do with you, but they bring drama into the situation. And suddenly the level of trust inside of that situation or the negotiations, it just all falls apart.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, great example, perfect one to use, right? Given our audience. Yeah. Let's say the broker on the other side makes a promise, or they imply that something can get done, or they imply that their client is going to agree to some term, maybe in a counter proposal, but then the opposite happens. Bam! All at once, you've now lost trust. Now the guard's up, your guard is up, your client's guard is up, and now you're about to embark on a dramatic process, a dramatic transaction, because now you've lost all trust.
Yeah, got it. So what's the third?
Number 3 is a lack of clarity. And we talked about the timing of the book when I put it together in 2020, and that I think was the thing causing the biggest problem for everyone back then, was the lack of clarity. Mm-hmm. It's very unsettling. So when you just go read and study like basic psychology, what you find is there are just a few things that a human being needs. You can think of it kind of like the old Maslow's hierarchy, with the triangle. We can all imagine that, but kind of related to that is the core psychological needs that human beings need. Number 1 in that list is clarity. People need clarity and certainty. And if they don't have clarity and certainty, it's super unsettling. And that will trigger drama. So if people don't know how things are going to unfold, if their future is uncertain, they don't know what things are going to look like tomorrow or in a week, that can trigger a whole lot of drama. And that's why people were having a frenzy over toilet paper during COVID, is because they were just so uncertain about the world. And so what they needed was certainty. And so they were finding their certainty and clarity in toilet paper. They were saying, well, at least I have toilet paper in my pantry, and at least I have something I can count on.
Oh, I fully remember. I mean, about March 20th of 2020, I was so worried about it that I think I bought 10,000 restaurant napkins from Amazon because that's all we could get. So if anybody out there is having a party for 10,000 people and you need the napkins, they're still in our storage room.
Right.
But I remember that. And I think about the evolution when you talk about clarity and certainty during the period of time in which you were writing this book. We went from panic. I think there was a little, for me, I was in Las Vegas at the Leading Real Estate Companies of the World conference the day the world shut down, right? And so we're getting kicked out of the Wynn Hotel. You walk outside, there was nobody on the strip. And I was like, are you serious? This is over a cold? Like we are kind of disconnected here. And then the reality of the situation sunk in when I got home and over the coming weeks. And I think the complex thing was about the time that you published this book, we began to re-emerge as a society. This is when we were, packing in airplanes wearing masks. We all wanted to go on vacation somewhere. We needed to get away from our houses because we'd sat there. But simultaneously, the real estate market started to go crazy in many parts of the country.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, if we have to be home, we're going to need more square footage, or we're going to need amenities, or interest rates were making people make decisions, and the fact that they had been saving money, and there were just a amazing collision of events that happened all at once. And it was really dramatic. Do you remember trying to sell real estate in October of 2020?
I mean, I always coach real estate agents to not use the word crazy with their clients, but it was crazy.
It was
crazy. It was insane. The waiting in line to go show a home with your 15-minute showing window, the multiple offers, and all the things that we remember, and there was a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Then.
Well, I think you put together an amazing book. I'll tell you, I read it cover to cover. It was one that the way it's put together, I was like, this is really cool. And I asked Eric, do you have an audiobook version of this? And he said he didn't. And I thought, here's what we could do. So if you're all right with this, I'm throwing an idea out there. But what I think we could do is finish this podcast by having you start the recording for an audiobook. And then what we can do is have a sign up where somebody that's interested in receiving your 100 daily lessons for how to live a drama-free life, they can sign up and we'll email them one of those lessons with a chunk of the audiobook, a chapter basically, and they're short chapters, every single day for 100 days. And I think if there's anything you do for 100 days, let me tell you this, if you do the Ninja 9 consistently for 100 days, your business will change. But if you listen to and practice 100 daily lessons for how to live a drama-free life, you'll probably find that things go a little bit smoother in your life as well.
And that would be amazing. That would be a dream come true for me if we can help people with that. So I'm game for that.
There's no time like the present. So let's start by having you record the first section of the book, and eventually we'll distribute this as an audiobook. But if you're interested in signing up for the email list, visit ninjaselling.com/no drama zone. ninjaselling.com/no drama zone. There'll be a sign up there. We're not going to spam you. We're not going to add you to any other email lists, nothing like that. We will just send you 100 daily lessons for how to live a drama-free life. And if you pair those lessons with the second half of this podcast, you will have the entire audiobook of The No Drama Zone by Eric Thompson.
I love it.
Cool.
Rob, I love it.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for being here. We're going to record this thing right now. So the second half of this podcast will be the intro to How to Live a Drama-Free Life, The No Drama Zone book by Eric Thompson. Thank you all for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Rob, I appreciate it. The No Drama Zone, How to Live a Drama-Free Life, 5 Rules and 100 Daily Lessons by Eric Thompson, read by the author. This book is dedicated to my wife, Julie, who keeps our home filled all the way to the brim with love without any space left over for drama. Introduction. Drama. Drama. A definition from the Urban Dictionary. A way of relating to the world in which a person consistently overreacts to or greatly exaggerates the importance of benign events. Typically, drama is used by people who are chronically bored or those who seek attention. People who engage in drama will usually attempt to drag other people into their dramatic state as a way of gaining attention or making their own lives more exciting. Common warning signs and risk factors of drama or of a dramatic person are having one supposedly serious problem after another, constantly telling people about one's problems, extreme emotionality or frequently shifting intense emotions, claiming to have experienced negative events that are highly implausible, a boring job or mundane life, making claims without sufficient evidence or a lack of detail about supposedly serious events, and a pattern of irrational behavior and reactions to everyday problems. So I decided several years ago to give up drama. When I was a kid, drama hung around in my house quite a bit. There was love for sure, but there was also quite a bit of drama. Drama came along with me into my early adult years until I decided that I had had enough. When I hit 32 years old, I gave it up. Now my life is mostly drama-free. So I know a life with drama and I know a life without. What I can tell you is that no drama is way better. That's what I want for you, regardless of your age. I want you to give it up. The less drama, the better, for all of us. Drama sucks the life and soul out of us. Drama moves in where inspiration, focus, and clarity once lived. When drama is present, there isn't room for much else. Giving up drama was one of the most beautiful decisions I ever made. I found that when I intentionally removed dramatic people from my life and I proactively stopped dramatic behavior, less drama started arriving at my doorstep. I found that when I didn't invite drama in, my energy and productivity shot up exponentially. It was a beautiful thing. More than anything, I found that I was responsible for the drama. If there was drama in my life, it was on me. Once I owned it, I was able to stop it. I'm going to show you how you can do it too. So welcome, my friends, to the No Drama Zone. This is a code to live by. It is a principle to adopt. It is a mountain to plant your flag on. It is an exclusive club to belong to. Everyone's invited. The 3 root causes of drama. There are 3 basic, undeniable root causes of drama. These are sure to trigger what you don't want every single time. Before we begin, let's agree that it's up to us to root out these 3 root causes. Nothing changes until we do something about it. You can't complain about weeds in your garden if you aren't willing to pull out the weeds. Same goes with drama. You can't complain about it if you aren't willing to remove it. So let's look at what you need to remove. Cause number 1 is dramatic people. It turns out that dramatic people cause drama. Who knew? The easiest and most effective way to have a drama-free life is to keep dramatic people out of it. To do that, you need to know exactly what to look for. Here are the proven telltale signs. They will help you see the dramatic person coming from a mile away. The overuse of everyone and always. Dramatic people can't help but believe that everyone is always doing some kind of behavior. My wife and I frequently coach our young girls on this one, especially our youngest. Everyone's always coming into my room without asking. No one ever listens to me. Everyone is always taking my toys. Adults, of course, do this too. I'm so sick of my kids never listening to me. None of my clients want to do anything. And my favorite of all time, I'm so tired of everyone complaining all the time. There seems to be a whole lot wrong. Dramatic people tend to attract drama into their life. So, evidence that someone is dramatic is the fact that there are a bunch of things in their lives that seem to be broken or wrong. Compared to the average person, they tend to experience more health issues, family issues, car trouble, technology challenges, money issues, and relationship issues. They are super unpredictable. One thing is true about dramatic people: you can't count on them. They are incredibly unreliable. They are frequently running late. They miss meetings altogether. They space things out. They jump from one project to the next without ever finishing anything. They live their life like a pinball with no clear pattern to anything. Cause number 2 is low trust. A key lesson around drama I learned from one of my mentors, Larry Kendall, is this: there is an inverse relationship between trust and drama. A high drama situation typically includes a low amount of trust. If you want to decrease the drama, increase the trust. So this begs the question, what is it that people typically don't trust? A worry about being taken advantage of, unsure how the other person will react, unsure of how they themselves will react. They don't know what the other person's ultimate goal is. So, the best strategies to infuse trust into a situation are to slow down, clarify your intentions, ask what the other person is hoping to achieve, and fulfill your promises. Cause number 3 is a lack of clarity. According to psychology, the number one need of a human being is certainty. People need certainty like they need oxygen. They must know what they can count on. Uncertainty is extremely challenging and difficult for people to handle. It causes anxiety, and anxiety causes drama. Here's an example to make this point. Let's pretend you are instantly transported into the middle of a dark room. You have never been in this room before. You have no idea how big it is. It is pitch black. You can't see or hear a thing. How does that feel? Extremely uncomfortable, right? So, what is the first thing you would do? You would put your arms out wide. You would slowly shuffle your feet. You would try to find the boundaries of the room, and you would also try to find the light switch. You would crave the certainty of knowing where the boundaries of the room are. That would make you feel at least a little bit better. When people are put into new situations that feel dark and they don't know where the boundaries are, they get anxious and they act in dramatic ways. Without certainty and clarity, there is drama. The 5 rules for a drama-free life. Rule number 1, eliminate dramatic people. Starting with a quote from my wife, Julie Thompson, some people view drama as a hobby. So your social media platform has a wonderful yet way underutilized function. It's called unfollow. I love to use it. Whenever I see a post that makes my stomach turn a bit, flinch, grimace, roll my eyes, or blood pressure increase, I use it. It's really easy. I just click on the person's name and then I choose to unfollow them. Voila, they are out of my newsfeed. No more getting worked up over someone I don't even know that well. No more saying to my wife, look at this, can you even believe what this person posted? Nope, just unfollow. Because I do this frequently, my newsfeed is a friendly place. There's plenty of kid, pet, and vacation photos that make me smile. There's also plenty of healthy discussion and debate. Different worldviews are considered with a spirit of respect and open-mindedness. Now, if there only was a real-life unfollow button, turns out there is one. If someone sets you off, if someone pushes your buttons, if someone frequently delivers a bunch of drama to your doorstep, unfollow them. Stop hanging out with them. Stop calling and texting them. Stop paying attention to what they do. You have better things to do. Rule number 2, set drama-proof boundaries. The ability to set healthy boundaries is a beautiful thing. It will keep drama and dramatic people at bay. It creates wonderful freedom in your life. Yet most people have a hard time doing it because they have never been taught how. Or they worry that setting boundaries means that they must be a mean person to do it. Not true. You can do it nicely and respectfully while being firm and clear. I'll now give you 3 ways to effectively set boundaries here. Way number 1, the word no. No is a beautiful word. No is a word that works. No is a one-word sentence. Here's the thing about no. It can be said nicely with a smile on your face. Go ahead and try it. Believe it or not, your talking muscles actually allow you to say the word no while you smile. You don't have to be snarky or grumpy when you say it. You just have to say it. Here's the other thing about no. It's a gift to the other person. No brings wonderful clarity to the situation. By saying it, you have just shown the other person where the boundary is. People love boundaries. They want to know what the rules of the game are. They want to know how far is too far. Think of how beneficial boundaries are for a child. If a child never learns where the edge is, eventually they might go right off the edge. The same is true for adults. They want to know where the limits are. Some people will keep pushing until they finally find that limit. Give people the gift of clarity and show them the boundary. The way to do it is with the word no. So, examples. Will you reduce your fee? Do you want to go out to dinner on Tuesday with the Smiths? Can I spend the night at Tommy's house? Maybe we should buy an RV. No just might be the perfect answer in any of these situations. Here is one more beautiful aspect of the word no. It keeps you from becoming passive-aggressive. Have you ever found yourself exhibiting silent violence? Have you ever been passively angry and upset that you are doing something that you don't want to do? Well, guess what? No is the way out. And no would have kept you from doing it in the first place. The bottom line is this: don't be afraid to say no. It will get you far in life. People will love you for it. The second way to set a boundary is with the word enough. I have a niece who is no nonsense. She doesn't put up with any shenanigans. I love that about her. She has a wonderful way of keeping people in check while treating them with respect. It turns out she's had this skill for a long time. When she was 2, I was on the receiving end of being put in my place by her. We were spending the week with my wife's extended family at a lake cabin in upstate New York. The vacation included lots of time playing in the water. My wife and I had my niece in an inflatable tube, and we were casually floating near the shore. Then I decided to start acting like a fun, goofy uncle. I started making the tube bounce up and down. I splashed some water into the tube, believing I was making the experience even more delightful for my niece. Turns out I wasn't. This little 2-year-old girl looked me square in the eye and said firmly and calmly, "That's enough of that." The point was taken. I stopped. I chuckled nervously. My wife laughed hysterically. I never messed with her again. The word enough is powerful. Use it. Admittedly, sometimes it's too hard to say out loud to another person. We don't all have the intestinal fortitude of my niece. At a minimum, say it to yourself when you find yourself out of bounds, or if you have allowed someone to go out of bounds. Just say to yourself, "That's enough of that." Then move on from the situation and get yourself back to where you need to be. The third way to set a boundary is with the phrase, "Here's the deal." So here's the deal about powerful personalities. They love the phrase, "Here's the deal." My dad is a perfect example. He is the type of person who commands a presence. He is large and in charge. He has no problem stepping up to lead and make a clear decision. He says, "Here's the deal" all the time. He says it so often that often I roll my eyes at it. But guess who also says it all the time? Me. Sometimes less powerful personalities find it challenging to square up to people like my dad. They sometimes feel like their needs aren't being heard and they don't get their way. So here's a surefire way to handle a powerful personality if you feel overpowered. Say, "Here's the deal" right back to them. When said in your own perfectly authentic way, it works like a charm. When you say this to a powerful personality, you will have their full attention. This is because this kind of person, more than anything, wants to cut to the bottom line. They want to get to the end of the story as quick as they can. When you say this, you are demonstrating power, control, and clear boundaries. Another softer variation is, here's the thing. This also works. The key is to say it in your own way, with your own style. Just say it. The powerful personality will respect you immediately for it. They, like anyone, want to know where you stand and where they stand. Rule number 3 is to stop. Sometimes it makes sense to stop. As much as we like to go, and as much as we like to make progress, stopping is often the best option. Jim Collins, the brilliant business author, coined the stop doing list. Creating this list is a beneficial exercise for any business. The thing is, we often find ourselves doing things only because we've been doing them before. We've generated our own inertia. Even though the things we're doing don't serve us or others, we keep doing them because we haven't taken time to stop. Drama is often created because we are doing things that we are in the habit of doing. Maybe we watched our parents do these things. Maybe we see others doing them. Maybe it's just the way things are. Regardless, they aren't serving us and they are creating drama for us and others. If you want to stop drama, there are 3 things you need to stop doing. First, waiting for the facts to change. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for some fundamental hard and fast rules to change? The thing is, facts don't change. And while people can change, we can't wait for that change to happen because it is maddening. We can only change ourselves and change the fact that we have been waiting. Do you find yourself waiting for someone else to change from being selfish to humble, or mean to nice, timid to courageous, slacking to motivated, unhealthy to healthy, scattered to focused, unethical to principled? Stop waiting. Just assume that the leopard won't change its spots. We wish the best for people. We encourage them to be their best, but we won't wait on their change. Their change is their deal. Let's pretend there was someone you care about who is really out of shape. They've let themselves go. It breaks your heart because you knew them from before this happened. You've seen them in an unhealthy place, and now you're watching an unhealthy reality for them. What are your choices? You could try a lecture or an intervention. Likely that will result in them being at least somewhat defensive and saying, "You're right," but it's unlikely it will result in change. You could stew it over. You could passively recommend gyms they could join or healthy foods they could try. The thing is, people need to change on their terms. The best choice is to continue to love them no matter what. Create an environment where it's safe for them to be themselves and eventually change. The best choice is to choose your own happiness regardless of the state they are in. The best choice is to model the behavior you want to see in them. Show them how to treat yourself well and how to treat others well. Who knows? They may change, but we're not going to wait. The second thing to stop is keeping score. Who's winning? Which team is ahead? In our sports crazed culture, these are natural questions which are frequently asked. The thing is, these questions do work in sports, but these questions can be a problem in personal relationships. Too often we keep score with the people we care about the most. I see it happen with my kids all the time. Why do I have to clear the dishes? I did it last time. She made more of a mess than me. Why do I have to help pick up? Imagine if I tried this tactic with my wife. Sweetie, I've kept track over the last month, and it looks like I've emptied the dishwasher 8 more times than you did. So I'll need you to make up that over the next month. I'd likely be sleeping on the couch for the next month if I said that. If you have scoreboards in your head showing who's ahead in your personal relationships, it's time to get over it. It's time to focus on contribution, not the score. The thing is, our scoreboards are biased because they are our scoreboards. By definition, it's not fair. You're looking out for your team and giving yourself prejudiced points. This applies at home and also at work. Too often at work, we focus on how a certain person isn't pulling their weight or how we are doing so much more than anyone else. Then we start resenting people and walking around with a chip on our shoulder. It's time to get over it. If someone truly isn't pulling their weight, the leaders know this and trust that it will get worked out in time. So, no more keeping score in your personal relationships. It's a waste of energy. Instead, put that energy into contributing at your very best. The third thing to stop doing is overpromising. Here's a simple trick I hope you adopt. We'll be there at 5 o'clock has evolved into we'll be there between 5 and 5:30. Both of my parents are super punctual and are all about being on time. Guess what? I'm now the same way. Being late used to trigger massive internal guilt trips for me, especially when it came to visiting my parents. Here was the old cycle. They would want to know a specific arrival time from me. I would optimistically give them one. I would put huge pressure on my wife and kids to get out the door on time. This would make me grumpy and them grumpy. My wife would get mad at me for committing an unrealistic time. We would hit traffic, which would make me more grumpy. I would blame my wife for not leaving on time. She would remind me that I never asked for her input as to a realistic departure time. We would be late. I would be stressed and passively aggressive. My wife would roll her eyes at me. Now, I promise a time range that is more realistic. Here's the new cycle. They want to know a specific arrival time from me. I tell them I need to talk to my wife. My wife appreciates me asking. I give a realistic arrival window. We leave pretty much on time. We hit traffic. It's not a big deal because I accounted for that. We arrive in the time window. I'm happy. Wife is happy. Life is good. I think the reason people overpromise is because it feels good in the moment. It felt good to give my parents a specific and optimistic arrival time. I would think they'll think I'm a good person because I can make it to their house on the early side. Look at what a good boy I am. Admittedly, this is a gross thought for an adult man to have, but I had it. We all have thoughts like this. We like to please people in the moment. We hope to make them like us and accept us, so we end up promising more than we can deliver. The counterintuitive truth is that this is a surefire recipe to disappoint them. People, it turns out, would rather just be told the truth. Instead of overpromising, commit to over-delivering. Over-delivering is an enduring and sustainable act. It is a terrific way to build a delightful, low-drama life. Have the courage to tell people the truth. Give realistic expectations. Then go all in to blow the expectations out of the water. Rule number 4 is to be. Having a drama-free life is so much about your state of being. How are you showing up each day? What are you choosing? Who do you want to be? How do you want to be? Commit to an awareness of your being. You are a human being after all. Here are 2 ways to be if you want to be drama-free. The first way is to be kind versus right. I see a lot of people needing to be right. I will tell you, based on personal experience, it's better to let go of needing to be right and instead focus on being kind. This is a lesson I learned from my late friend, Bill Sumner. Be kind, not right. Being right can feel good in the moment. It can give you a short-term jolt of pride as you feel justified, but it doesn't last. It wears off quick. Being right can quickly turn into being lonely. Being kind, however, is sustainable and beautiful. It attracts wonderful people to you. Being kind also takes less work than being right, but it's so tempting to be right. It makes us feel important and significant. However, the consequences become significant. The other person is left feeling wronged and resentful. The witnesses are left feeling unsettled and untrusting. Resist the urge to be right and be kind instead. You can have boundaries and still be kind. You can hold true to your values and still be kind. Just be kind. The payoff is huge for you and for us. The second way to be is curious versus judgmental. Here's a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. I think at a child's birth, if a mother could ask a fairy godmother to endow it with the most useful gift, that gift would be curiosity. For my whole life, human beings have fascinated me. What makes them tick? What makes them do certain things and not do other things? What do they crave? What do they avoid? What can trigger them to achieve goals they never thought possible? This curiosity drives me. It makes me who I am. It also makes my life quite wonderful. I watch behavior with an inquisitive mind instead of a judgmental one. This doesn't mean I don't have expectations of others. This doesn't mean I won't set boundaries. Quite the contrary. Because I study what people are capable of, I know what they are capable of. I expect people to perform at the level of their capabilities and then some, but I don't judge them. I'm lucky to have learned this skill from my mom. I'm blessed to have grown up with a role model who never judged people. People are just people. No need to label, belittle, or judge someone, especially when you don't know them. I found it to be a waste of energy to say, well, look at that person, because obviously, fill in the blank, because fill in the blank, it's a waste of energy. And it's also just not cool. Here's a quote from the Bible, Matthew 7:1. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Indeed, those who judge open themselves up to the most judgment. Instead of labeling, try wondering. I wonder what their life is like. I wonder how they grew up. I wonder what it's like to walk in their shoes, then move on. Judging ends up getting you stuck. It's no fun to live a life stuck in your opinions and your ways. Judging puts you on a path to be old and grumpy. Curiosity puts you on a path to be wise and cheerful. I'll choose that every time. Rule number 5 is the whatever dance. Okay, this is something to use as a last resort. In case of a drama emergency, break this glass. The whatever dance was inspired by the fact that our kids are in elementary school. As you may remember, kids can be sometimes mean in elementary school. Luckily for us, it doesn't happen too often. Bullying is not a significant issue at our kids' school, but every so often we would hear a story about another kid not being nice. Kids tease other kids. That's just the deal. I knew our kids needed a strategy to defend themselves against meanness. I didn't like the feeling of someone hurting my kids' feelings. One night at dinner, we were hearing one of the rare stories of another kid being mean to my daughter in the playground. My wife says to her, you know what? The next time that happens, you just need to give them a big old whatever. Then I thought, even better, you could do a dance for the mean bully while you chant the word whatever. And the whatever dance was born. This is how you do it. Put your 2 thumbs together, raise your index fingers, put your hands in the shape of a W, and chant whatever, whatever. Here's what happens based on real-life scenarios from the elementary school playground. First, your friends laugh hysterically. Next, the bully's mind is blown. They don't have a clue what to do next. So they usually just walk away. And they usually don't come back. It's the perfect defense because it uses humor as a shield and shows the bully that their petty tactics are no match. Now, as an adult, it may not be appropriate to use the whatever dance and to chant out loud. At a minimum, just do it in your head. The next time someone tries to mess with you, do the dance in your mind. Put a smile on your face and walk away victorious. Oh, and if you actually do it out loud, please tell me the story.
Eric, thank you so much for sharing your book with us. Again, if you would like to sign up for our 100 Daily Lesson email campaign, visit ninjaselling.com/no-drama-zone. In 100 days, you'll be well on your way to learning how to live a drama-free life. Thanks for joining us today. We'll talk to you soon.
If you enjoyed this episode, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com to learn more about ninja selling classes and coaching to get you started or further your journey on the ninja path.
Thank you for joining us. Now go have an incredible day.